We are back with another tournament run, and today's character of choice is Lucina. Why did I choose Lucina over Marth? Because Lucina is the better character for competitive play, and furthermore, a new Marth video is going public later this week on the Sillintor Vault channel, so look forward to it. To play against other competitors, I registered for the tournament Tommy's Rumble 24, and it had about 27 attendees. The tournament organizers gave me the first seat, which means I started in winners round 2 and had to wait for the set between Swamp and Alex Saisk, which the latter won. This means I had to fight a Sephiroth player. Oh, and by the way, the whole tournament only had best of 5 sets, no best of 3s this time. Now let's start with the tournament. Winners round 2 versus Alex Saisk. The first game started on Battlefield, one of my favorite stages. Alex is a Sephiroth main, and I knew immediately what that means. My normal Lucina gameplay is gonna get shut down. As a sword character, usually what you want to do is keeping your opponent out of your comfort zone and stop approaches with your range, especially when it comes to a character like Lucina. Now there's a big issue when it comes to Lucina versus Sephiroth. Sephiroth has a way bigger sword than Lucina and can keep her out pretty well. Which means instead of trying to stay at a range I'm comfortable with attacking, I have to actively approach and penetrate Sephiroth's threat range, which is not an easy task for a character like Lucina due to her medium fall speed. And Alex did a phenomenal job at keeping me out with the aerials and grounded moves. It was really hard to find an opening and a very close game 1. But after a clutch parry, I finally took the last stock with a back air. Game 2, Alex decided to switch to small battlefield, which is in my opinion a better stage for Sephiroth than Lucina. She usually struggles more to kill up the top than off the side with her attacks, while Sephiroth has moves like up air, up smash and up tilt that all kill pretty reliably. This match started a bit in my favor after I took Alex stock with what was apparently a body block. Honestly, a pretty lucky stock for me if that really was the case. It is hard to tell with all the stuff going on in Smash Ultimate with magnetic hands and whatnot, but I think Sephiroth could have made it back if it wasn't for Lucina's thick body. However, Alex was able to find my stock shortly after with an up air and bad DI on my part. Now we were back to a very even match again, and I had to figure out a way to close the distance to Sephiroth with my moves, which is easier said than done. I was seeing myself in a good lead against the Sephiroth player until this happened. No! No! I wanted the normal air dodge! Yep, an American air dodge coupled with an up smash that killed me at only 62%. Closed out the game in Alex's favor.
My problem right now against Sephiroth is that my range means nothing.
Game 3, I decided to go on Hollow Bastion. At this point it was hard for me to figure out what I should do in this matchup because I was just fighting a huge katana with a tiny dagger. So maybe a stage switch was the right idea here. And not only did I have to fight this ranged battle with a shorter weapon, but when I found an opportunity to get a hit, it seemed like the game was against me.
How did he fall out of Nair? Man.
Alex was able to inflict so much more damage onto me and I was just not able to find the stock. Seemingly nothing killed during this entire match. My up throw was not strong enough, my fair hit from the wrong side of the stage, and even though I found a very cheeky up air, it still didn't want to kill. I think with Marth I would have found the stock 5 times already during that point, but finally I was able to take it with an up throw. Unfortunately, I couldn't celebrate too long because I timed my get up option very poorly and Alex timed the neutral B very smart, and I lost my stock immediately. Now I had an entire stock deficit against the Sephiroth player. I somehow had to bring this game back and I knew it wouldn't be an easy task, but at the same time I didn't want to go 1-2 into the set. And after one cheesy up B edgeguard, I finally got back into it again. Slowly but surely we found ourselves again in a last hit scenario with both players close to 100%. And I thought I finally had Alex on the edge, until they found an insane reversal to counter my attack and win game 3.
Okay, need to make a comeback. I think I have to keep it slowly. Usually Lucina plays a keep away game, but with Sephiroth, that's not possible, because Sephiroth is gonna play the keep away game.
For game 4, I decided to go on Pokemon Stadium 2 and switch things up again. I needed to find a way to overcome Sephiroth's range, but it really seemed like a tough task. I mean, I kept it as even as possible, but it always seemed like Alex has a slight edge over me in this set, until Alex made a huge mistake while trying to recover back on stage. It was a smart idea to recover like that, because the down air comes out fast and might kill me while they descend, and they can recover back to the ledge and slowly reset neutral. Even though it was kinda lucky for me, I was already on so much percent that I lost my stock shortly after. But this SD was not only good for the game itself, but also to relax a little bit and collect my thought on how to overcome this ranged angel. And just like every other game, we found ourselves again in the last hit scenario. The only question was, who will find the last hit this time? I shielded about every attack Alex had to offer, but the main issue was that my shield was already too low to use shield anymore, and Alex picked the best option in this scenario, an Octaslash, which would either break my shield or a shield poke and drag me to the end of the stage. And with this, Alex won the game and the set over me, and I had to move on to losers round 2. GG's to Alex Seisk.
Oh, that was good, can't say much about it.
Losers round 2 versus Will D. Kugel. After losing in winners round 2 and dropping early to losers round 2, I had to fight against Will D. Kugel. An Sillintor mate who is, by the way, also a Twitch viewer who regularly watches the stream, so huge shoutouts and thank you a ton for the support. Before the few I can't get over his name, man. Okay, let's go back. Before the few times already in VR battles and in the lead smash, so we were pretty familiar playing against each other. However, I think I never fought with my Lucina against the Incineroar. But I know one good part about Lucina against Incineroar, which is the offstage game. I can't get over this name, Jesus Christ. Lucina is an excellent edge guard, and I knew I had to use this advantage to the fullest to take the edge in this set. Incineroar, on the other hand, is a character who struggles to get back on stage with his recovery.
Let's go, that was good. I just need to push advantage once I have it.
So if I wanted to win this game and the set, I knew where I had to focus my strengths in. And for the first game, this worked overall very well. The first game was, I would say, relatively close, because Incineroar always has this comeback factor on the table. But I closed it out with one more F-smash and one game won.
Okay, nice.
Game 2, Will decided to go on small battlefield, which means I had less opportunities to use the platforms and extend my combos, which I really like to do with Lucina. But this didn't stop me from taking the lead early on with only 22% on the board. And with such a huge lead, I didn't stop there and almost took a nasty early stock with a down air. But Lucina's down air was not strong enough to finish the job, and Will was able to recover back on stage. But not without taking a huge amount of percent first. And it also didn't take too long to take the second stock of the Incineroar main. Usually you don't see it too often that a character lives that long against Incineroar, but my survivability was insane and it took 200%. Until I finally lost my first stock. Now this was a tough mountain to climb for Will, and it seemed like it is just getting worse and worse, because another important point about Lucina's gameplay is her juggle ability, and I juggled the heck out of Incineroar, until I finally found the last stock with an F-smash and won game 2. Game 3, Will wanted to change it completely up and switched from Incineroar to Wolf on Pokemon Stadium 2. This switch is completely understandable. It was not like the second game was a close call or anything. It was a solid 2-stock after all, and I think it is a fair point to switch characters here. There was just one major issue about this switch. I really enjoy to play against Wolf as Lucina. And you can see it by this huge 2-stock lead already. And at this point, I gotta say how it is. My advantage state against Wolf was too crazy good, and Wolf was not able to bring this match around and went down to one more final F-smash. GG's to Will D. Kugel. Losers round 3 versus... Oh, DQ'd. Yeah, this player DQ'd from the tournament. So for anybody wondering where losers round 3 went, well, here's your answer. Before we moved on to losers round 4, I had to wait a tiny bit, because I either had to play against Epic J Rules, the Bowser Jr. main from the Link tournament run, or Tommy, a Kazuya main, and the tournament organizer of this very tournament. So Twitch chat and I discussed what would be the better bracket path for me.
Mr. E has Kazuya and hard losing. I'm fucking dying, man. I can't. I'm playing a character that is supposed to be good in this game, and I'm getting only bad matchups. Bro, I just hope that Tommy wins. I don't want to fight Kazuya, man.
Well, Tommy lost against Epic J Rules in winners, which means that Tommy dropped down to losers round 4, where we had to face off.
Bro, I'm feeling really bad. They said everything is taking so long, and now I'm gonna camp him out with Lucina. I'm so sorry.
Losers round 4 versus Tommy 1. The first game started on Hollow Bastion. The Kazuya matchup as Lucina is pretty straightforward in theory, but very hard in practice. Basically, what you want to do is keep Kazuya out of your comfort zone and outrange him constantly. If you manage to do this, you will win the game. And if Kazuya gets an opening against you, Lucina dies. So your typical Kazuya matchup experience, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it here. Overall, this matchup is all about not overextending, because if you make one mistake, a good Kazuya player can erase your stock in an instant, and that's exactly what Tommy did with my second stock here. And if you make another mistake, well, then your last stock is gone as well, and Tommy wins game 1. Let's move on to the next game. At this point, I didn't know which stage I want to pick, because I felt relatively comfortable going on Hollow Bastion against Kazuya. It's just about me, not making mistakes. And when I make them, I have to mix up my DI in such a way that it is gonna be hard to follow up. This match started off as a very even game, and I was able to find the first stock with a back air edgeguard near the ledge. And as mentioned previously, this is something Lucina excels in. If I get Kazuya off stage, I have to edgeguard him, no matter what.
Okay, no tech, good.
And if I'm able to do that, then the stocks are just flying. And this is exactly what I did in this match. And suddenly, I found myself in a huge lead and one more edgeguard was enough to win game 2 with a solid 3 stock. Game 3, Tommy and I went again on Hollow Bastion. Overall, we were both the most comfortable on this stage apparently, because every other stage which was available was not to my or Tommy's liking. And this match really seemed like it's again going into my favor, because not only did I take the first stock, but I also extended my lead further and got another stock through another edgeguard. But this time Tommy had enough of my gameplay and sniped me off stage. They really didn't want to give me a 3 stock this time. Wait a second. Tommy, you can calm down now. No need to take my second stock. Man, that was close. Oh, okay, never mind. Suddenly Tommy was able to turn that whole game around. What was once a 3 stock to 1 stock lead is now an even game. And then Tommy found an opening for a Kazuya combo. And I was trying everything to survive that. And in fact, I actually survived that up B. But not for long though. Tommy managed to make an amazing comeback in game 3. Always remember, it is not over until it's over. Anything you can do, I can do as well. And that's exactly why Tommy was able to make this comeback. Let's move on to game 4. Again, we find ourselves on Hollow Bastion. My adaptation was on point. I won the second game and the third game was in my favor in the beginning as well. So I didn't think that the stage was a problem at all. This is tournament match point for me. If I lose this game, I am out of the tournament, and if I win, we go into a game 5 scenario. It was looking good for me with a solid lead against Tommy, and my advantage was really shining. I almost got Kazuya's second stock off stage, but was interrupted by a laser. I wanted to take the stock as soon as possible, because of this reason.
No! Oh, bro.
Yep, Tommy made a complete reversal thanks to Rage Drive, but not for long though. And now it was a last stock scenario again. For Tommy it was about moving on in the tournament, and for me it was all about staying alive and going into game 5. We both had our plan. I needed to keep Kazuya away from me until I finally inflicted enough percent to get the stock, and Tommy had to find an opening to convert an electric into a massive combo to take my final stock. And wouldn't you know it, this is exactly what happened. But unlike in the previous game, the up special is gonna take the stock, and Tommy wins game 4 and moves on to the next set. GG's to Tommy, it was a fun set and a fun tournament, thanks for hosting.
Honestly, I think I played it pretty well though at the end. But hey, it is what it is. You know what I always say, guys? Sometimes I lose and sometimes the others just win. That's how it is. But you have a good Kazuya though. And you know what? I think we sometimes need those tournament videos as well where I don't get far and sometimes where I get far. You know? Both exist. I cannot always win, I cannot always lose, and I want to have both on the channel, because I'm not the godlike player everybody think I am. I'm just a dude in his room. And this time, the other participants play better. End of story.
I went 1-2 in this tournament, well technically 2-2 if you count the DQ, which results in a 9th place. Tommy went on to lose the next set 3-2 against Momo, a Banjo player, and Tommy got 7th at their own tournament. Meanwhile, Alexeisk, the Sephiroth I lost to in winners round 2, moved on to get 4th in the tournament, losing to Coca-Cola Zero, a Kazuya player. There were many great players in this tournament and I had a ton of fun. My Lucina definitely needs some work in the disadvantage and neutral department, but I think my advantage was pretty solid. I honestly like Lucina in the tournament setting. She's pretty fun to play, even though many people tell me that she's more on the boring side. But that doesn't stop me from playing her. I enjoyed this tournament and my character choice, and I hope you enjoyed this video as well. Thank you so much for watching. I think lately you've seen a more clear shift between the content on the main and the Vault channel, and I hope you enjoy it this way. It is a ton of work writing scripts and doing voiceovers, especially my voice, but it feels good to compete again. It's all thanks to you I can create this content. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next video.